One basic functionality offered by OpenCV is drawing basic shapes. OpenCV provides functions to draw lines, and so on. When building a computer vision project, you usually want to modify the image by drawing some shapes. We should know how to draw shapes, so this is the answer. When in the vision project, you usually want to modify the image by drawing some shapes. For example, if you develop a face detection algorithm, you should draw a rectangle highlighted image. Additionally, if you develop a face recognition algorithm, you should draw a rectangle highlighted faces and also write some text showing the identity of the detected faces. And show, for example, the number of detected faces in order to see the performance of your face detection algorithm or the processing time. In this chapter, so these are some examples uh, about when we need to draw pictures, to draw shapes, or text in our images. In this chapter, you are going to see how to draw basic and more advanced shapes using OpenCV library. The topics will be covered in order to design and OpenCV shapes. Clip and arrowed lines, ellipses and polylines, text, event and advanced drawing. So, OpenCV provides many functions to draw shapes, common base shapes, lines, rectangles, and circles. However, with OpenCV we can draw more basic shapes. As mentioned briefly in the introduction, it is a common basic image. In order to the following, show some intermediate results of your algorithm, show the final results of your algorithm, show some debugging information. In the next screenshot, you can see image modified to include some useful information in connection with the two algorithms mentioned in the introduction, face detection and face recognition. In this way, you can see where your algorithm has detected wrong faces, which are false positives, or even missing faces, or negative. The false positive is an error where the result indicates the presence of a condition when in reality the condition is not satisfied. For example, a chair is class. This is an example of false positive. A false negative is an error where the result indicates the absence of a condition when in reality the condition should be satisfied. For example, a space is not detected. So this is an example of false negative. So you see this is an image. We draw a rectangle here. We detected a face here. This is the name of the person. This is some debugging information, number of detected faces 1, face recognition and learner, processing time 6 seconds. So we now go to how to draw text and shapes. In this chapter, we are going to see how to draw some basic shapes and text in different colors. To introduce this and to review some concepts from previous show functionalities that we will be using in most of the examples in this chapter. functionality is be a dictionary, which defines the main colors to be used. In the next screenshot, you can see how it. So some keys, we have some values. We have pairs of keys values. In Python, when you want to write a dictionary, for example, the name of the dictionary is color, put the pair of keys values between keyword brackets. So blue colon, this value is the value related to this key. Remember that in BGR, color space has three values. The amount of green and the amount of red. So the color blue, the blue part is 255, but the red and green are green, the second one. For red, the third one. For yellow, the blue part is 0 and the red and green are 5, the maximum one. Magenta, cyan, white, the three values are 255. Black, the three, gray, 125. Also, we have a rand. The rand, this value, random rand int. I will explain to you. It creates a random three random values and 255. So the rand is a random color. I will explain this later again. So these are 50 light gray, these three values are 220. So we have some pairs of keys values and the color is a dictionary. It should be that just and practicing purposes. For other purposes, there are other options that you can use. A common approach is to create a constant to define. Yes, this is one of the options. We write this dictionary in our code. You put in a separate file, for example, constant.py. I think I should go to chapter 4. .py. Let me close other. So you see, we write some constant. These are constants, okay? But what here it's a dictionary. So color is defined by a constant in this file. Okay. So for example, you write this. You see, you write import constant. For example, I go to another file. I copy this. I save it in the same directory as it. I save it. So I write F5. You see, this is the output. So I write import constant. This script is in the same directory as this script is. So we use this, you see, constant.read. Constant.read is this value. You can use any constant. Constants are usually specified in capital letters. For example, blue, you see BLU, they are capital letters. And with underscores between the words. For example, dark gray, we put an underscore between the words. Additionally, as we are going for the feature field, we have created a show with matplotlib function with two arguments. The first one is the image we want to show, and the second is the title of the figure to plot. Therefore, the first step converts the BGR image to RGB because you have to show color images with matplotlib. You remember that in formatting, automatically will convert the color space of the images from BGR to RGB. The second and final step of this function is using matplotlib together. The testing colors script has been coded in colors. I open colors. You see we have some imports. Also we import constant. We have a function show with matplotlib. You see this is a function. How we define a function in Python? Who knows it? Who knows how we can define a function in Python? W3 schools. A function you can pass data known as parameters into a function. A function can return data as a result. In Python, if I'm using the def keyboard, you see, you write def, then you give a name to the function, then you put parentheses. If there are some parameters, you put them between these parentheses. Then the statements inside the function should be indented. To call a function, use the function name followed by parentheses. For example, you see, if we want to call this function, we just write its name. Information can be passed into function as arguments. Arguments are specific after the name inside the parentheses. You can add as many arguments as you want. Just separate them with a comma. The following example has a function with one argument. There is a function definition here. We have an argument. Its name is fname. When the function is called, we pass a line, a first name, which is inside the function to print the full name. So when we call the function, for example, this call, this string is copied here. So when it is run, fname will be Emil. Okay. So here we have, this is the name, It takes two arguments. The first name is the image name and the second is the title. It is two arguments. The first one is the image we want to show, and the second is the title of the feature to plot. So the first step is to convert BGR to RGB. We can do it like with this statement. This is the image. We convert it to RGB and we save it in the variable underscore RGB. Then we write PLT image show image RGB. With title, we put a title, we gave a title to the image. And PLT show our image. It displays all open features. So this is the dictionary that I explained to you. So maybe I code to create the dictionary is shown here. Oh, wait a second. Yeah. So this is the dictionary. The dictionary. Okay. That some predefined colors are in section blue, red, yellow, white, gray, and a random one. Gray, dark gray, and light gray. If you want to use a specific color, for example, colors index magenta. Okay. If you want to use the sorry. Uh, I just read these parts. Okay. I just said that is a dictionary. If you want to add a value, for example, let me run this. Right. Blue. So right colors green. If we write green, then there will be this. Okay. In order see how to use these two functionalities which we use in most of the examples in this chapter. And we have created the testing colors script. If you execute it, you will see the next screen shots. Example is 500 by 500 with the 3 channels because we want the color image, and 8 height, 8 pixels are on this side. We have created it with a black background. With the 0 function, we create an array which is this 500 channels. So because all pixels are like it. In this case, we want to change the background. You will perform the following. You write image colors light gray. Colors light gray. Light value of each pixel will be so, and then we change the value of each pixel to light gray. Then separation equals 40. Yes, 0 means oh, so numpy zeros function. Maybe this one is better or this one, I don't know. The numpy.zeros function returns a new array of given shape and type with zeros. Okay. Return given shape and type filled with zeros. So it returns an array, a new array. Actually, array. Then we add the functionality of deriving some lines. Each in the dictionary. So we want to, there are some lines with colors of the dictionary that we created. It should be noted that in the next section we are going to see how to create some dictionary and the code created. So separate, and the name separation is 40. Then we have 4. So colors is our dictionary. So key, the first time key will be a value. The keys are blue, green, red, and so on. And this index key are these values. Okay. So let me run this. In key equals key. If I run this, you see good for okay. But here key equals blue. So we come to this loop, the value of key blue. The second value will be green, red, yellow. You see, each time a value. I will run, okay. So there is a function here, CV2 line. CV2 line. Wait a second. That I bring the OpenCV documentation for CV. So we say that there are a line in this image from this point to this point. I'm waiting, yeah, it's here. So line draws a line segment connect points. The function CV line draws the line segment between PT1 and PT2 points in the image. PT1 and PT2. Image boundaries for non-anti-aliased lines with integer coordinates, the 8 connected or 4 connected Beresenham algorithm is used. Explain it later. Because now we are in a grid. Image is like a grid, so and with pencil. So I will here. You see, in images, if you want to come from this pixel to this pixel, then you have some pixels. So you can connect just this. You can connect also this, okay, or you just connect this. It depends that which method you use. Line 4, line AA, line 8. We will see it later, okay? So IMG, so I think everything is clear. The color is the line color, the thickness is the line thickness, the line can be one of these. We have 4 connected, 8 connected, and anti-alias line AA, anti-alias. So it's the type of how we connect 2 points. Okay. So problem here, it should be indentation. It should be indented. You have indentation. So this loop is run for the first time. The key is blue, and then a line, the 0, 40, separation is 40 for the first time. So it means that each 0, this point, this point. So from this point, 0 and 40, 0, 0 is the column number, is x, until 540. Okay, so the color is blue. The color is blue. I don't know why the color hasn't shown correctly. Okay. So this is blue. So this is the first line. Separation is added by 40. So separation will be 80. Okay. So if I say that print separation equals separation, if I run it, you see for the first time the color is blue, separation is 40. For the second time, green and 80. So a line drawn from 080 to 580 with color green. The thickness is 10, you see, and then other lines. Okay, for loop is run for each key in the color. So it is finished. Then show with matplotlib is called image, and title is this. You see, the title is this. This is the title image with matplotlib. Finally, we draw the image using the created show with matplotlib function. The two arguments of show with plot and the title to show. So now we are ready to start creating some basic shapes in OpenCV and Python. Drawing shapes. In this section, we are going to see how to draw shapes using OpenCV capabilities. Firstly, we will look at how to draw the basic shapes, and then we will focus on more advanced shapes. Basic shapes, lines, rectangles, and circles. The first step is to create an image where the shapes will be drawn. With the 400 by 100 image with the 3 channels to properly display a VGR image, and a UINT type will be created. So the command change a 400 by 400 image with 3 channels, and then we change the value of each pixel to like. So if we draw it, it's like this. Now we are ready to draw the basic shape. It should be noted that most drawing functions that OpenCV have common parameters. For the sake of simplicity, these parameters are briefly introduced here. IMG, it is the image where the shape will be drawn. Color, it is the color that should be a BGR typelet. BGR. B is the first one. Used to draw the shape. Thickness, if the value is positive, it is the thickness of the shape outline. Otherwise, a field. I will explain it again. Line type, it is the type of the shape boundary. OpenCV provides 3 types of line. Line 4, this means 4 connected lines. Line 8, 8 connected lines. And AA, which means anti-alias. Shift, this indicates the final function with the coordinates of some point defining the shape. At the moment, I don't explain this, okay? In connection with the aforementioned parameters, the CV2 option for reduce much quality drawing. So for better quality, we use this option. For example, when drawing text, but it is slower. It has a better power. So this consideration should be taken into account. Both the 8 connected and the 4 connected lines which are non alias Beressenham algorithm. For the anti-alias line type, the Gaussian. Additional study because many drawing functions can deal with sub-pixel accuracy. For simplicity, in our examples, we are going to work with integer value set. We always put shift equals 0. However, to give you a complete understanding, an example of how to use the shift parameter will also be provided. Of course, we don't say that. The first function we are going to see is CV2 line. The signature follows. What is the name, what is the method, return value. This function there are the image connected to for example, 0 and 1 is shown in the next screenshot. This is the output of the previous code. A line from 0, 0 to 400, 400. A line from 0 to 200 to 400, 200, 200, 0, 200, 400. 0. The yellow one, this one is the yellow one, is this one. Anyway, I think it's clear and easy. But how we can draw a rectangle? IMG PT2 thickness line type shift. So shift always is 0. This function draws a rectangle given the 2 opposite corners, PT1 and PT2. So for drawing a rectangle, we should give 2 opposite corners. So for example, a rectangle from 1050, this is one of the corners and this is another. So green. So it's this one. You see, 1050. This is one corner and another corner is 60, 300. And the thickness is 3. But for the blue one, we put the thickness -1. So it is filled. For the red also it is filled because it's -1. Red one. And for the cyan it's 10. The thickness is this one. So I think it also is easy. Okay. So for drawing a rectangle, we should give 2 opposite corners. Of course, there is another option of this. Let me check. So you see there are version of this function. One takes two opposite corners, but another one take a rect. If we explain later. Remember that there are two versions of the. Anyway, so remember that negative values for thickness parameter means that a field shape will be drawn. No sound. If you hear me, please send 10. If you hear my voice, please send 10. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So if someone doesn't hear me, so there is a problem from him or her side. So drawing circles also is very easy. You give the image, the center point and radius. Other things like before, color, thickness. So the center, this is the radius, this is the color. The thickness of 3. This is for green, for this one. The blue one is field, -1. This is the center. So I think it's very easy. Yeah. The full code of examples of this section can be seen in basic drawing. Basic, I open drawing. So we have show in fact clean. We have some lines. We have some rectangles. We have some circles. So let it 5. So this one is maybe, wait a second. Maybe I select plots here. What do I need to do? So you should stop it here by a way, but I will explain in the next session because I think time is finishing. So we taught until page 182, okay? Today is so until page 181, 182. Any question? If you have any question, please ask. If you don't have, thank you. So if there is no question, minus or write no time. It's good. Others, okay, thank you. Goodbye. في أمان الله.